If you've ever been sad to see a 13-game playoff win streak come to an end, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. At least the game was good and it's close, and we're going to have a series here. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Tuesday. Not a whole lot going on in terms of earnings and data here today, but we're anticipating having an interesting day nonetheless. We're going to get you all prepared for it. There are definitely some movers. We're going to recap Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference from yesterday. It does what it normally does. It trades down after the conference. Would love to get your opinion on the new AI offerings by Apple. Go through the other bits of news here today. Get you ready for the session here today. We're going to have a fun one yet again. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Tuesday edition for June 9th, 2026. Begins right now. All right. Welcome back, folks. Good morning. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Sure looks like Solitary Soldier is first here today. Good morning, Solitary Soldier. Hopefully you had a wonderful rest of your evening. Free Diddy tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome back, buddy. Hopefully you're having a good one. Derek, it's great to see you again. Good morning and welcome back. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, it's good to see you as always. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Robert, good morning. Kelly, good morning. Zach, good morning. And good morning to the Benzi Gang. Benzi Gang t-shirts, please. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. I would wear one of those. And actually, there's a guy here at work that did some pretty cool t-shirt designs. Let me suggest that, Zach. That is a good idea. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Let's get ready to rumble. Are you saying that in the Michael Buffer voice? Are you doing your best Michael Buffer impression here early this morning? We'll see how it goes. Have you liked Pre-Market Playbook yet? Good question, Free Diddy tomorrow. There should be all of the likes right now. All of you should be doing that. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Producer, thanks for all you do as always. Wiss, good morning. Welcome back. Wiss, how did that INHD trade finish for you? Yeah, you know what? We should probably take a look at that here today too. Let's see what it's doing in the pre-market. Reason I am even bringing it up. Oh, did it get halted in the after hours? We will check that out here in a sec. The reason that I bring that up, I suspect that what we saw in INHD was what we were kind of expecting from the PDT rule being lifted. I think you had more action, more trading, more volume, more volatility, all because of the PDT rule. INHD was the big mover of yesterday. Wiz, hope you did well on that. I'm sure we'll check that out again here today. Daniel, good morning. Welcome back. Tom, good morning to all. Another great day ahead. Life is what you make it. That is absolutely right, Tom. Thanks for the reminder here. Absolutely right. Happiness is a choice, folks. Jody, good morning. Welcome back. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Chuck, it's great to see you. Bernhard, welcome back. Hit that like button. Indeed, Solitary Soldier. Ed, good morning. It's great to see you. If you're not dripping or drowning, good morning. Yeah, it's we got thunderstorms here again last night. Looks like we're going to get some more rain here today, but we're inside. We're doing all right. Lance, good morning. Welcome back. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Dirkus, it's good to see you as always. Captain Cloudy, likewise. Captain Cloudy, what do you got on the spy here today? Let me know what you're looking at. Just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back. Acorns. Good morning. Alvin. Good morning. Jeff. Good morning. Seahorse Trading. Good morning. West suburb of good morning from the west suburb of Chicagoland. Ooh, which one is that? Western suburbs. You're probably an hour, 2 hours away from me. Which one? Liam. Good morning. Welcome back. Great to see you, Liam. Kenneth, good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, good morning. Welcome back, Marionette. Glad you survived the cage match with Lion. Those can be brutal. So glad to have you back, buddy. Unpopular Truth, good morning. Barb, good morning. Barb says she would buy a Benzi Gang t-shirt. Yeah, I suspect that would be a popular one. I like that one. We'll go into that. Dare, good morning. Why isn't ADTX being covered? We can add that to the list. Absolutely add ADTX to the list. Haven't looked at it this morning, but we can do that during the movers section. Let me go ahead and make a note here so I don't forget. ADTX. TX. We'll check that out coming up shortly here. Just sit tight. Robot to Trade, good morning. Welcome back. G-Cord, good morning. Philip, good morning. T12 halt for INHD, an indefinite amount of time. All right. Well, I guess there won't be a whole lot that we'll do here today, but that's good. You know, yesterday we had someone on the happy hour have a real awesome success story with that, which is great. But I was warning on the happy hour. I said, this stuff is crazy. This is not normal. Be careful. Sometimes unexpected things could happen. Now we got a T12 halt. So there we go. Lugo, good morning from Quebec. Good morning. Sel, good morning. Selena, good morning. Dara, good morning. I see my K, good morning. Happy Tuesdaying indeed. Richard, good morning. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Captain Cloudy saying, I think a good chance of a 750 retest. Ooh, 8 points up. That would actually make for some pretty good trading, especially in those zero DTEs. Keep those call outs coming, Captain Cloudy. That's awesome. Seahorse Trading, you're in Naperville. All right, that's not even that far. I think that's like 45 minutes from me. Enjoy your time in Naperville. Believe there's a Top Golf around there. Maybe that's in Schaumburg. Matthew, good morning. All right, folks, let's kick it off. Let's get started with our stock market today. All right, green arrows ahead of Tuesday's open here. Market looks like it is trading up here in the pre-market. S&P futures higher by 0.39%, Dow futures higher by 0.17%, and the NASDAQ leading the way higher at 0.77%. They are off their highs, but barely, and so far they're doing a pretty good job holding that higher area here in the pre-market. So we'll see what happens as we get closer to the open. Now let's take a look at some cues from last session and get you set here for today. Get this all squared away here. Sectors on the S&P 500 that closed higher on Monday included only information technology, energy, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, utilities, real estate, healthcare, financials, materials, and communication services. And industrials fell. U.S. stock futures rose on Tuesday as the NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, and Dow Jones indices gained following the mixed close that we had yesterday on Monday. President Trump posted early Monday that both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire, end quote, shortly before Iran's armed forces said they had ended military operations against Israel while warning of harsher attacks if strikes on Lebanon resume. The NASDAQ rebounded, driven by encouraging remarks from tech leaders, including NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang, who indicated that the recent market pullback offers a prime entry point for artificial intelligence investments. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.55%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.15%. The CME Group's FedWatch tool projections show that the market's pricing in a 98.2% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be Vail Resorts. Right? Vail Resorts, ticker MTN, dropped 4.53% in the pre-market on Tuesday after posting worse than expected third quarter results after Monday's closing bell. See how it trades here today. The next stock on our list is going to be Mission Produce. The ticker is AVO, and it declined by 5.43% after reporting downbeat second quarter results after the closing bell yesterday. The company also announced a $100 million buyback plan. The next stock on our list is going to be AMPG, and it surged 12.63% after announcing a key update from the ORAN Alliance Global Plug Fest, spring 2026. The company distinguished itself as the sole vendor showcasing a massive MIMO radio equipped with 64 transmit and 64 receive antennas. The next stock on our list is going to be Nebius Group. The ticker is NBIS, and it rose 4.59% as it launched a physical AI living lab for UK and European robotic startups that is built on the back of NVIDIA technologies. The last stock on our list is going to be Casey's General Stores. It was 0.057% lower as Wall Street expects it to post quarterly earnings of $3.30 per share on revenue of $4.3 billion after the closing bell. right, folks, let's take a look at the SPY chart and see where we are at. I had asked earlier, Captain Cloudy thinks 650 test may be on deck today, so we'll start with that. First of all, we had an inside day yesterday, so the plunge candle that we had on Friday, that is still marking the lows. That is going to be a key level until we either take out the highs or retest this area and hold it. The actual low value of that is going to be 735.53, so 735 and a half. Now, we're currently sitting right beneath the 20-day. The 20-day is at 745 and a half. If we do get the 750 test that we've kind of talked about a little bit here today, that would not quite take out the candle from Friday, but boy, oh boy, would we be close. And it would sure look bullish on the daily chart here, and it would look like that wants to trade higher tomorrow. Plus, we'd have that single close above the 20-day moving average. If we, in fact, reverse the action that we're seeing here in the pre-market, at first, we want to take a look at yesterday's low. That value is going to be 738.19, but then after that, that's going to set up the low from the Friday candle, 735.53 or 735 and a half. So this is what I'm looking at here on the SPY. I guess we could do an honorable mention here to the low that was put in from May 19th. As a key level, that is going to be 731 and a half. So really, as we get into the low 730s, this is going to have to hold, or we might come in and test that 50-day, which is down at 715. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. LPL Financial expects the U.S. economy to maintain its current momentum, noting that, quote, incoming data has generally surprised to the upside, end quote. This resilient data supports a broader narrative of resilience or a soft landing plus scenario, driven largely by rising near-term real growth expectations. The strength is heavily underpinned by, quote, ongoing investment in the artificial intelligence build-out. Regarding the stock market, LPL's financial strategist and tactical asset allocations committee, or STAC, STAAC, expects, quote, further easing of geopolitical and commodity supply concerns, end quote, stemming from the U.S.-Iran conflict. Consequently, the firm maintains a positive outlook for equities over fixed income, recommending a, quote, tactical equity overweight and fixed income underweight strategy, end quote. To navigate the changing rate environment safely, they advise expressing this tactical equity exposure, quote, via a defensive factor tilt, unquote. Ultimately, while bond yields face a transition, LPL Financial anticipates that the combination of robust productivity gains and underlying economic resilience will continue to provide a supportive backdrop for corporate earnings and the broader equity market. So we'll see what we get. The analysts here still mentioning the resilience, still kind of looking for that. You know, we talk with Mark Petrino all of the time about sentiment and all of that. And it does seem like the sentiment is shifting. It really doesn't seem like the sentiment, at least from some of these analysts that we quote here, it doesn't seem like the sentiment is full blown in either direction. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of like big time fear or big time greed. And we'll see if that changes. We will absolutely monitor that to see if that changes. All right, biggest story here in the M&A world. I guess the question that I would throw out from the beginning here, what might be next, or is there any theme that we can derive from this? GlaxoSmithKline makes its biggest bet in more than a decade, and it paid $10.6 billion for a cancer drug developer, Nuvalent. Now, we've seen a lot of PRs recently about different cancers. Pancreatic cancer has had a few of them. Breast cancer always has a bunch of companies trying to come up with a therapy or a solution. And as a result, there's a lot of news about it. This is interesting, though. GlaxoSmithKline, biggest bet in more than a decade. They must see something here. And we'll see if there's anything else that we might be able to hypothesize from this merger. GlaxoSmithKline, ticker GSK, on Tuesday agreed to acquire Boston-based biotech firm Nuvalent, which was ticker NUVL, for $10.6 billion in cash, as the British drug maker seeks to strengthen its lung cancer portfolio. Under the agreement, GlaxoSmithKline will acquire all outstanding Nuvalent shares for $124 each in cash. That represents a 40% premium to its last closing price of $88.49. Nuvalent's shares surged 38.7% to 122.76 in the pre-market trading following the announcement. If any of you had Nuvalent going into this, congratulations. Today is your payout day. The acquisition provides GSK with immediate new sales growth opportunities, improving profit contributions from 2027, and a platform in lung cancer. And quote, that came from GSK CEO Luke Meals in a statement. The deal marks GSK's largest acquisition in more than a decade and seeks its second largest acquisition on record. GSK said the acquisition is expected to contribute to revenue growth and be accretive to sales and core operating profit beginning in 2027, while boosting core earnings per share from 2029. The acquisition gives GSK 3 lung cancer assets in a single transaction, including Nuvalent's lead drug candidates zidesamtinib and neladalkib, which are being developed for certain forms of non-small cell lung cancer. The deal also includes NVL-330, a phase 1 HER2 targeted therapy, along with Nuvalent's broader oncology pipeline. Quote, by combining our highly differentiated pipeline with GSK's global development, commercial, and operational capabilities, we have the opportunity to accelerate the delivery of important new medicines to patients around the world, end quote. And that came from Nuvalent CEO James Porter. The acquisition comes as major pharmaceutical companies race to strengthen drug pipelines ahead of looming patent cliffs and increased competition. Again, I wonder if we see more of these, and if you have any ideas, I would love to hear what those are. Nuvalent's lead asset, neladalkib, has previously generated encouraging clinical data. In November, the company reported a 31% response rate in previously treated patients with advanced ALK-positive non-small cell lung cancer. In a separate exploratory cohort of naive patients, the therapy achieved an 86% response rate. The transaction also builds on GSK's broader oncology push under Meals. In April, the company reported promising early-stage data for its experimental cancer therapy MoRes. The deal also comes amid a broader wave of biotech acquisitions. According to PitchBook data, global biotech deal-making has reached $106 billion across 201 transactions so far in 2026, putting the sector on track for its strongest year since the pre-pandemic peak. And this, again, well, there's nothing we can really do with the merger and acquisition now, unless you believe in the long-term plans of GSK. We're telling you here that this is a big transaction for biotech mergers. And that just, when I read something like that, that tells me, hey, what else might be on deck here? These are not easy to find and often require deep research. A lot of the times, the people making the acquisition or the companies making the acquisition are quite secretive about this and do a really good job of kind of keeping it under wraps. Dara, I'm just going to throw this tweet on this post on the screen because I think it's hilarious, but I'm not even going to try to do I think you're trying to get me to completely butcher this name of a drug that's not even real. I mean, maybe it is real, but it seems fake. Not even going to do it. You go ahead and pronounce that for me. Send it to me in an audio file, and then I'll practice it. All right. Big story from yesterday was the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. And, just like the iPhone event, a lot of the times these Worldwide Developer Conference, the stock trades up into it. We get the news, stock comes in a little bit. But that has ended up being a buying opportunity every single time. Really, what this is going to come down to is how many handsets do they sell? Now, while we try to hypothesize and make a guess, I definitely want to know what you folks feel about some of the new AI capabilities. This is being made more complicated because the new incoming CEO, John Ternus, told that they're going to change the world. Apple's going to change the world. And the advanced Siri is going to be part of that. Folks will have to let me know what you think about that. Apple's long-awaited unveiling of Siri AI at its Worldwide Developers Conference drew mixed reactions from Wall Street, with some analysts applauding the vision, while others questioned whether the company can deliver the technology on the timeline that investors expect. Remember, we're already delayed. At the Worldwide Developers Conference on Monday, Apple introduced a revamped Siri powered by Apple Intelligence, describing it as a more capable and conversational assistant that can understand personal context and perform actions across apps. During a demonstration, Apple executives showed Siri helping users find directions to location featured in an Instagram post. My phone does that now, highlighting the assistant's deeper understanding of on-screen content and app functionality. The company said Siri AI will be available to developers in beta immediately, while consumers will gain access through a software update later this year. While the announcement showcased Apple's AI ambitions, Deepwater Asset Management's managing partner Gene Munster expressed skepticism about the rollout timeline. Quote, Apple showed plans for its new Siri AI that consumers will love. They failed to answer the key question. Do they have the AI chops to deliver? End quote. That was from Munster's post on X. He added that his expectation for a launch has shifted significantly, saying, quote, my guess is that we'll see Siri AI in mid-calendar year 27 versus previous expectations for the fall of this year. In a separate post, Munster suggested investors were disappointed that Siri AI would arrive in beta rather than as a fully realized product this fall. He argued that the real version could take until early to mid-2027 to reach users. Now, this worries me because this would continue a pattern here that Apple has developed of seemingly being behind on some of these big, groundbreaking things that people want in phones. Now, not everyone shared those concerns. CNBC host Jim Cramer offered a much simpler reaction on X, quote, still liking Apple, end quote. In the past 12 months, Apple shares have been up 49.68%, while in the past 6 months, they've been up 8.79%. During the event, Apple said Siri AI will not launch in Europe and China due to regulatory issues. The features will roll out to developers in beta starting on Monday, with broader consumer access expected this fall on newer devices alongside a software update and new hardware. Real quick, it's also worth mentioning, they did say that this new Apple iOS or the new Apple system is actually going to be backwards compatible to the iPhone 11. So it's actually going to include a bunch of different phones. And I wonder if that's going to make a difference in two ways. One, will some of the older phones handle the technology appropriately to make the experience wonderful? That's what Apple banks on. But number two, does that have any impact on the upgrade cycle for some of these devices? If you're able to use some of the new technology successfully on older handsets, do you feel less inclined to maybe shell out $1,200, $1,500, $1,700 on a new handset? I guess we'll have to wait to see what kind of reaction we get from that. Here we go. The next one here. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney criticized Apple on X, arguing the iPhone would be, quote, much better if AI assistants could compete in a free market instead of being restricted within Apple's ecosystem. Now, Apple's ecosystem is one of the big things that keeps it going. So I don't know. I think that decision and the die has been cast on that one, as they say. Now, let's see, how much time do we have? We're good on time still. Another story here from the Worldwide Developers Conference. Apple's biggest AI bet actually runs on NVIDIA, not its own Apple Silicon. And this is surprising because those Apple Silicon chips are fantastic. Apple unveiled its biggest Siri AI upgrade in years at the Worldwide Developers Conference, but perhaps the more consequential announcement came behind the scenes. The company's most advanced AI model will run on NVIDIA chips through Alphabet's Google Cloud rather than on Apple's own silicon. CNBC's Mackenzie Sigalo said Apple unveiled functional generative AI branded as Siri AI at the WWDC. She said the new Siri is more conversational, has a standalone app, can understand what appears on the user's screen, and can draw on personal context. Sigalo said Apple did not show a fully agentic assistant capable of tasks such as booking dinner reservations or calling a car. She said the lack of groundbreaking agentic capabilities help explain the stock reaction, along with the absence of incoming CEO John Turnus from the stage and a lack of a clear path to monetize AI through Apple's services business. The announcement also marked a significant departure from Apple's long-standing hardware strategy. At the Worldwide Developer Conference 2026, the company disclosed that its most advanced frontier AI model, the AFM3 Cloud Pro, is designed to run on NVIDIA graphics processors rather than on its own silicon. Sigalo said Apple announced a new generation of its own large language models built with help from Google Gemini. She said those models will run on device and through private cloud compute. However, she said Apple waited until a post-keynote briefing to discuss AFM Cloud Pro, a model it says is on par with frontier large language models and powerful enough that Apple will need NVIDIA chips and Google Cloud for some of the compute. Sigalo said that marks a notable shift from Apple's usual preference of private cloud infrastructure built around its own M-series chips. Sigalo said Apple's private cloud setup reportedly could not support the scale needed for agentic workflows and complex reasoning, raising questions about the company's future capital spending needs. Remember, Apple's been insulated from not spending as much. She also said the headline gave NVIDIA shares a boost. Sigalo said the company's biggest upside could come from turning AI into a services opportunity. She said Apple could eventually offer a paid Apple Intelligence tier or take a cut from third-party model makers if it allows them to plug into its ecosystem. She said the bull case is that Apple turns AI into a consumer toll booth for generative AI. So again, we'll see. Eric in the chat says, I think Apple may be the biggest benefiter of AI. See, I can take this story two ways, right? I can say Apple's kind of sitting back on the sidelines, letting the other hyperscalers beat each other up and then pick the winner. You could also, on the other side of that, say Apple's just not strong enough to do this on their own and has to rely on others instead of their own custom chips. So I guess you could kind of argue that either way. Last story here. This is Apple adjacent, I guess. It's related to Apple, but it also has some impact on the robo-taxi theme that we've been talking about. Alphabet-backed Google's Waymo has reportedly acquired Apple's self-driving proving facility in Arizona for the cost of $220 million. On Monday, the Phoenix Business Journal first reported that Waymo acquired the property from Delaware-based Route 14 Investment Partners, LLC, which is associated with Apple. The 5,500-acre facility includes a 115-acre city course, as well as a 4-mile oval track and a freeway course. Apple acquired it for $125 million in 2021, with the Cupertino-based giant undertaking development efforts for a proprietary self-driving technology since 2014 under the Project Titan initiative. However, it was ultimately scrapped in 2024 after having spent over $1 billion annually on the project. While Waymo has been at the forefront of the U.S. robotaxi revolution, the company has faced a few hiccups recently, with a Waymo customer reportedly asking to hail an Uber or a Lyft cab after the robotaxi abruptly ended the ride. Waymo also operates in cities like Atlanta in partnership with Uber. However, some of the ride-hailing giant's executives painted AV-only operators like Waymo as less scalable and less reliable. The executives instead touted a hybrid approach with human drivers and robotaxis being offered on ride-hailing platforms. The operator also issued a recall for over 3,791 autonomous vehicles after a software glitch affecting its latest self-driving stack came to light. The issue stems from a glitch that could likely cause the robotaxi to drive onto flooded roads. Yikes. Following the reports, a Waymo spokesperson said that the company had filed a, quote, voluntary recall, end quote, with the authorities after identifying an area of improvement regarding untraversable flooded lanes specific to highways. Notably, Waymo currently operates in more than 10 cities across the United States. So Apple kind of gave up. At least they got $220 million back off their multi-billion-dollar investment that ended up not doing anything. And we'll take the glass half full approach. All right, folks, it is 8:30, and it is 8:30 on a Tuesday. 8:30 on a Tuesday, which means it's T3 time. T3 time. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest. DP, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, brother. All's great. No complaints. How about
All's
you?
great, no complaints. Same thing here. I am really enjoying some of the sports in the evening, and honestly, I don't really have a whole lot of complaints here with the market so far. We do have a lot of exciting stuff going on, so I'm really glad to have you here. Before we dive into it, get an inside look at David Prince's playbook. See how he navigated the record-breaking market in spring and his game plan for the summer. Register for Thursday's free webinar at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Where do you want to start here? I want to ask you about AI. I want to ask you about Apple. I want to ask you about the memory stocks. You tell me where you want to start, boss.
We could go with Apple. I mean, just yesterday. First off, we're going in knowing that everyone and their mother has seen 90% of the time they go into worldwide developers conference and they disappoint, and it's a sell the news event. Sometimes that's too easy, so you wonder, will they get it together? And it was an absolute disappointment. There'll be analysts who paint a picture that they're making some strides, but I think overall it's pretty clear there was really little meat on the bone. And by the way, I've been long Apple and traded
Me
it
too.
and had an okay, position in it. I'm out now, but point is, I think there was this narrative, oh my God, the stock's performing because they're actually not wasting or abusing spend, and maybe they're doing something right, and then they'll sneak in some real solid um, forward kind of guidance on what they're actually doing with AI. Turns out they're not spending, then they're spending, but they're not actually making a difference. And I think it was just general disappointment. No one wants to see some changes to Siri and call it AI. It was just blah.
Yeah,
So
it did kind of
I
feel
would
like
say,
that.
given that it's not cheap and it's just not special.
Is
Disappointing.
there a particular level where you would like this? I mean, I know you said you're kind of out of it now. You're not really moved by
So let me
the
tell you where I
conference
was
itself.
moved. I could right after the earnings. I said, okay. The last time Apple re-rated themselves and actually pointed to higher growth and guided higher was never. It was a what? So I got pretty aggressive after earnings at that 280. Got to 300. And by the way, this is not a Marvell-like trade or
Right.
one of these neo clouds. So for me, 300 is enough, and I was out. But bottom line, now it's a new chart, and it's ugly. Where it looks like it's going to basically move back into where it started from, which is 280. I mean, it looks like it's going to get pretty close to that 50-day at 283. It's messy here. So for me, earnings aren't special enough to kind of, I'll buy messy charts any day of the week. If the fundamentals dictate that they're so powerful that they can recapture whatever average it lost. That's not Apple in my opinion. So I would look at it at 283, 284 as it comes into the 50-day. Otherwise, it's like in this environment, there's 50 ideas that present better risk reward in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I'm with you on that. To me, a reload here at the 50 makes complete sense. All right. We got SpaceX IPO coming up here. What are your thoughts on this? First of all, are you playing it? Are you trying to get IPO shares at all?
First off, you don't have to try, right? Like, it's really easy. Let's call it like it is. It ain't hard to get a piece of the SpaceX IP. Almost
Does
any
that worry you at all? Does that worry you at all? Does that worry you at all? How easy and
Yeah,
how
of
many
course.
people are?
Here's the problem. I hate when the chorus all says the same thing, which is, everyone's taking capital out of the market to get ready for SpaceX. That could signal the top. So by no stretch of the imagination do I think it's that simple that SpaceX goes public and we've topped out the market. However, I do think people, rightfully so, are reallocating capital and getting ready for the deal. Here's how I look at it. And I get a little bewildered that people make it more confusing than it is. Every time you buy a stock, you buy it based on risk reward. If I'm wrong, I can lose this much. If I'm right, I can make that much. Over the short term, I don't see this almost $2 trillion company producing a 50% gain, right? I see stocks giving us 40, 50% gains. In fact, some large cap stocks that I'm in shock about pretty much weekly at this point. So does that excite me? No. However, if it were to pull back on this aggressive pricing and valuation, much like we saw with the Cerberus, and provide, I mean, buyers got paid on Cerberus yesterday. I'll be an aggressive buyer. It's Elon, for God's sakes. I'm never going to second guess the guy. All he does is make fools of anyone who second guesses him. Whether you believe he's real or not, doesn't matter, right? Anyone who followed him through the years, guys like Ron Barron, have made careers by just following the leader. So pulls back enough, I'll buy it. As far as the IPO, I don't see the risk reward, so I have no interest. But
okay,
I'll be interested.
That makes a lot of sense. Looks like our group is doing a lot of the same thing here. Lion says, I'll let the dust settle, then I'll buy SpaceX. That's kind of the way I'm.
What are you going to miss? Like 100% move off the deal? Come on.
Exactly.
And yes, of course, you do have to wonder if everyone gets the deal. I asked my chat yesterday, I said, maybe I'm missing something. But if it's this easy to get the deal, if you're on E-Trade, Robinhood, Webuild, and then Morgan Stanley and Goldman, and you can get the deal, then where's the demand in the aftermarket to make it go up that much? Now, some people threw out the fact, well, they're actually trying to spread it through retail and cut out institutions, and they'll be buying. Yeah, some indices might play it. The Ron Barons will buy $1 billion. I don't see it creating enough. So my thought is, if it pulls back enough, it's interested. I'm interested. If not, it's whatever.
Okay, I think that's a great approach. I think that's real smart. I know it's like the biggest thing. There's a lot of hype around it, but I think the measured approach.
Well, the risk reward. So it could be the biggest thing as a story for the press, but for us as traders, only if it provides good risk reward.
I saw a clip yesterday that one of the trendy grocery stores out west, Erewhon, in their app has an advertisement for how customers can get a hold of the SpaceX IPO.
I didn't even see that or hear about it. That's funny.
It is pretty wild. All right.
That's the LA one that everyone loves that's coming to New York, the really expensive one.
That's right. Yeah. That one.
That's a hot business. They would do well going public. That is a hot business right now.
Apparently they have a great hot food bar, but I can't tell you firsthand. So $30 smoothies is par for the course, evidently. All right. The other thing I wanted to ask you about here is quantum. We got a new quantum IPO recently in Quantinium. What do you think about the sector here? And then I guess more specifically, do you have any plays that you like in this sector?
Yes. So about 3 weeks ago, I think we all know, right? Market's all about AI. And then within the AI trade, you go from one part of the AI trade to the next part of the AI trade to the next part. And as everyone's chasing memory, and we've been in plenty of the AI stocks, I said, what hasn't moved yet at this stage of the bull market? What's left? And I'm like, quantum. And then I kind of checked myself like, oh my God, I like quantum. He said, eventually quantum's going to work. You know, it's just got to. It's been left for dead. We all know in 2 or 3 years, there's a real business here. Who leads and how big it becomes and how, like, when does it scale? Okay, there'll be plenty of questions, but a lot of these stocks will work. And it's a waiting game. But in the meantime, we all know no one waits, right? So I looked at a deal that everyone was in love with, and then the lockup came, INFQ, inflection. And I said, you know what? This is really one of the better companies in the space that actually has some revenue and some powerful, Fortune 500 companies as partners. I got to buy some. So I bought some at 11. I said I'll probably be sitting on it, be a little bit bored. Maybe I'll go to 12 or 13 and then back to 10, but I got to own it. Then I go away to Costa Rica, and while I'm away, they the U.S. government through the CHIP Act makes a deal with everyone, including INFQ. And the stocks run. And I did trim up to like $17, $18. I trimmed some, but I came back and I said, guys, I'm super bullish quantum, because now you have some re-rating around the story with some really solid facts, like a $100 million deal with INFQ and several other companies. And some of them are LOIs, right? They have to make good on some agreements. But I said, this is not a one-day story. No way. When the government gets involved, it ain't a one-day story. We have to be aggressive buyers on pullback. So I chose INFQ. And I really aggressively bought between 14.60 and 15. And I really aggressively sold on its way to 20, and now I'm flat. But I love the quantum story over the next couple of years. So what better way to get involved than with the next company that's much more real than 90%, the Honeywell spinoff. So I was a pretty aggressive buyer last week. I wish I was smart enough to catch the lows, but I was busy buying chip stocks. Friday, I bought as low as 55, QNT. We did trade as low as 50. And by the way, 10 insiders bought the IPO, and that just came out yesterday. So rather than looking for liquidity, you have a lot of guys actually adding capital to the IPO. So QNT is my horse in the race at the moment. Bullish.
Okay. Awesome. And you're bullish on quantum. That's awesome. INFQ has been a show favorite here. We've had a number of folks that made a great trade on this. This is actually currently sitting right on the 20. So it'll be interesting to see if this.
Yeah, I think it's viable on the pullback, but when companies don't have earnings or much revenue, I try and, especially in a space, I try and keep it real. And if I'm going to pick a horse, I'll buy enough. I don't need to own 3 companies that don't have much revenue or earnings.
Sure. Sure. Okay. So we've talked about quantum. We talked about the SpaceX hype. What about drones? Are they being left for dead? You think there's more on the bone here for drones?
I'm biased, but I got lucky. So I and my partners financed a company pre-IPO called Swarmer. Basically back to Jockey, guy who started Blackwater, Eric Prince, no relationship, one of the smartest guys in the combat industry, war hero, etc. Created billion-dollar company, CNBC, Kramer. He's been on all the shows. Anyway, so
great on podcasts too, by the way.
He's the best there ever was. The guy speaks like God, right? So well spoken, and that was part of the reason I was so excited for this company to get public. But minimal revenue, but some of the most important technology. Long story short, I don't want to picture the deal. It already went. It went bananas. We brought it public. Teeny little deal, $5. I told everyone up to like 15, 16, you can chase it, but be careful. One of the bigger winners of my life, it recently went to $84. Here's the way I'm playing. I sold a lot of stock, right? It's a monster win. Stock's up a million%. But recently I told people, listen, it's all about supply and demand and leadership. You have one of the best leaders in the space, a guy that's proven with technology that has been used in the Ukraine war. I should say Ukraine war. When you talk to people in the Ukraine, they say, like, why do you say the Ukraine? Anyway, in Ukraine war versus Russia. Bottom line, 100,000 missions. It's some of the best technology out there. It's not just about drones. It's amphibious vehicles. It's tanks. And what they do is they make these things true AI war units, and they swarm. And it's some of the best technology that's been used. Eric is introducing it to a million other different companies, and they'll probably go from almost no revenue to 30 million over the next 2 years. Tiny little float. Do you buy it up here? No. But recently, after hitting 70, it was at 26, 27. I said, wait. Everyone kept asking that missed it. I said, wait, there'll be a moment, right? I was a seller up there. And we were able to go back in 26, 27, and it ran to 80 some odd dollars. Right now, you sit, you wait if it pulls back ever again into the 30s, because it's kind of I don't want to say it's a project. It's very much a real company, but it's minimal revenue. That's a stock to put away and own. I think it's many points higher a couple of years from now. But for now, it's something you sit and watch. So yes, I'm a big believer in drones. Yes, it saves the government, all governments, so much money. It accomplishes a lot of what missiles do. And I think Ondas, although it's a little too retail loved, so that always scares me, is a great company that has made enough acquisitions. They have a great vertical unit going there. I think ABAV as one of the top leaders can do well. I think Red Cat's interesting, but I think a lot of them, you really have to understand some of it's about story and some of it's about reality. So you really have to buy them at the right price. Like these are stocks, if you chase, you can get killed. ABAV looks like it put in a bottom, and now that it's put in a bottom, I'd be a buyer on pullbacks. So big believer in the space over the next few years.
Okay. Awesome. Absolutely fabulous. We actually interviewed Eric Brock here. I was impressed with the technology stack that he was building.
I didn't even know. He's been on CNBC.
Eric Brock, the Ondas CEO. I'd love to get Eric Prince on here. Believe me, I've been doing backflips to get Eric Prince on here.
Also, we have 2 great board members. One's from Meta. I don't need to talk Swarmer, but actually the old CFO of Ondas is on our board at Swarm.
Okay, perfect. So good brain talent there as well. Folks, get an inside look at David Prince's playbook, see how he navigated the record-breaking market in the spring and his game plan for the summer. Register for Thursday's free webinar at 4:30 Eastern. I'll get you out of here on this. As far as the IPOs here, or IPOs, excuse me, as far as the earnings reports that we're still due here this week, we've got Oracle, we've got Chewy, and we've got Adobe. Do you like any of those, or is it just
too hard of a story? Even though the stock is priced like it's going out of business, trading at a really low valuation. You know, when stocks trade at terminal levels like this, it usually means that the market's right. So I just not for me. Even though it probably is due a bounce one of these days. Oracle, I think, might actually really surprise people, and if there's a play there, it would be that to the upside. I will say, in almost 30 years in this business, I have never seen a big cap earnings season this good. And I'm a devil's advocate guy. I don't drink the Kool-Aid. Okay. I have never seen an earnings season like the one we had. Seen like Dell, right? And not because I own it. Just when I saw that report, which the market was demanding a monster report, I was blown away. So as much as the market is run, I think everyone needs to know, there have been very few earnings seasons like this in history. Am I talking healthcare and biotech and financials? No, I'm talking a specific area of tech, but wild. I mean, some reports that truly were mind-blowing. So not bad for the market, although, you know, it's needs a break.
I was going to say, does that kind of lead to a break here, or do maybe we get a little bit more off of that? Sounds like you're kind of waiting.
Last Monday, that Marvell move, which I was long, right? I didn't sell the top. I sold it at 300 and said that's enough for me. I said, okay. When you can actually say Marvell should be $1 trillion company and goes up 60%, all I said to my chat, to be exact, was in the next 2 weeks, we're going to pull back a lot. I don't know which day, but this is that exact moment. That signal should scare you. So I'm going to buy puts. I'm not going to make 4,000% on them because I don't know what day. So I'm buying 2 weeks out. I'm going to start to trim positions, and I am hedging. And then we saw what happened Friday. Now, and by the way, Friday, when everyone was looking for that great pullback, I said, what are the odds that was it? I said, doubtful. So did I go full-blown bullish? No, but I wasn't a net seller. I was a net seller earlier in the week. Friday, I was buying Dell and MBIS. So as far as I'm concerned, could that be a near-term top? And do we need to base on some of these stocks before you can really buy them comfortably? Probably. Like I wouldn't be a buyer today on almost any. In fact, some MBIS pre-market. So that's what I think. I wouldn't call that the top, but I would say, yeah, we would do watching what Dell, Marvell, AMD, those are not normal moves. These are big cap companies. I have never seen that on big cap. So you can be bullish about earnings and still say the market needs a break. That's where I am.
Okay. Look, really, really good stuff, David. I really appreciate it. Folks, get an inside look at David Prince's playbook, see how he navigated the record-breaking market in spring and what his game plan is for the summer. That webinar is free Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. DP, we're grateful.
Thanks,
be well. We'll catch you next time, all right? All right. Take care. David Prince from T3. Absolutely love it. Really good stuff there across the board. Technology, drones, SpaceX, the whole 9 yards. There you go, folks. There you go. All right. And then producer Can's looking for the link. If you would be so kind as to put that in the chat, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let's see what we got here. 10 more minutes. I got one more news story. Then we'll do a tweet. And then we're going to do ticker time until the open. So we should be all set to go. We're not going to miss anything here today. Not going to miss anything here today. Sad but dead says Copen. Anyone? Yes, absolutely. We've actually interviewed Michael Murray, the CEO for Copen, on this channel as well. Love what this company is doing here. Here's a look at the actual chart. If you don't want to chase, perhaps maybe wait for a pullback. We're currently on the 20. So your risk is going to have to tell you what's going on there. But love the story here, KOPN. Love the story. Okay, last piece of news here. Aptus Capital says you should absolutely buy the dip in NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Broadcom. But Amazon and Meta are actually their top picks. All right, let's see what's going on here. Amid a 2-day pullback in the tech sector, Aptus Capital Advisors is urging investors to capitalize on market weakness by aggressively buying premier mega-cap tech stocks. David Wagner, head of the equities portfolio manager at Aptus Capital Advisors, emphasized that the recent tech pressure represents a prime entry point rather than a broader market correction. When asked if investors should step in during this cooling off period, Wagner responded, "Absolutely." While advocating for a broad approach to tech gains, Wagner pinpointed specific targets for investors. Quote, "I'd be buying your Amazon. I'd be buying your Microsoft. I'd be buying your Nvidia and your Broadcom. There's no doubt about it," end quote. Boy, he seems like he really likes those. However, he singled out two clear front runners for immediate allocation, adding, quote, "I think Amazon and Meta are my favorite right now," end quote. Wagner noted that despite recent volatility, these mega cap names are trading at substantial discount relative to their 5-year and 10-year histories. Addressing market anxieties regarding whether the AI-driven trade is sustainable, Wagner dismisses fears that corporate margins are artificially bloated. He urged investors to, quote, "get back to the basics," end quote, noting that the S&P 500 is growing earnings at nearly 27% year over year, driven by powerful corporate operating leverage. For active managers trying to fade the tech rally, Wagner's issues a sharp warning. Quote, "The beatings will continue until morale improves on the tech space and this overall AI narrative because I think it's here to stay," end quote. He characterized AI as a revolutionary long-term force that will continue to reward risk assets. Instead of pivoting to defensive fixed income assets, Wagner warned that the 10-year Treasury yield could soon reach 4.8%. He suggested that investors look to equity options for downside protection rather than over-owning bonds. Quote, "The biggest mistake is that investors can do right now is to be too conservative in their portfolios," end quote. Wagner concluded advising market participants to buy beta. So there you go. There are definitely folks out there buying. All right. Did we lose the sync? Looks like what's wrong? You guys lost a sync? I'm not sure. I have refreshed 2 times. All right, producer, help me out. I'm not sure what's going on there with chat. Let me know if there is a problem with that. Anyway, for right now, I actually got a really interesting street tweet for you. Let's go ahead and run that right now. You guys hear me say all of the time that getting younger generations involved with the market and investing at earlier ages is nothing but a good thing. Now I have some data for you. The value of stocks owned by people under 40 is up 3-fold in the 2020s. That's people under 40. The share of IRA account owners under 30 has also doubled in the past 10 years. Technology and lower fees have made it easier for young people to invest, and this is absolutely good news. If anyone wants the tweet or any of the accompanying information from the tweet, I will go ahead and drop this link here in the chat. This is a humongous thing for me. I am a huge proponent of young folks investing as early as they can. I often say that I live life with no regrets, but if I had one, it would be that I did not start investing earlier. I would probably be retired right now as I was on my hands and knees begging my parents to invest in Google on the IPO. The United States stock market has created more wealth than any other mechanism in the history of humanity. You have to participate. The earlier you participate, the better it is. Time is your greatest asset as an investor, and it is absolutely fabulous to see this curve going up. This is exactly what we want to see. All right, let's get back to live trading here. We can do ticker time now. Let's see, how much time do we have? We've got 6 minutes before 13 gets here. That's great. We're going to break down the movers with him, and we can take a look at any stocks that you folks want to take a look at. I'm still trying to figure out. Sync is back. What on earth is going on? What are you guys talking about? Sync? Looks like the street tweet fixed it. Oh, okay. Well, at least we know how to fix it. At least we know how to fix it. All right. Let me know what what stocks you folks want to take a look at. Ed, I hear you clucking big chicken. We'll take a look at Pony here first. That's ticker PONY, Pony AI. This thing has actually been a pretty good mover for us. It's been in a downtrend. It's really been in a downtrend since the fall of last year. And looks like we're kind of at a support level here, doesn't it? This $8, $8.30 level kind of looks like a support. Weekly and the monthly don't look all that different. Pony AI, remember, this is going to be a Chinese company, so take that with a grain of salt. We're basically right under the 20-day moving average here. This is fairly easy. If this can hold $8, I think maybe we have a chance at moving back up towards the top of the moving average there, or the 200-day moving average, maybe even breaking above it. We'll see if we end up getting that, though. We really need to reverse this trend. I mean, let's be honest. This trend needs to change. That's it. I know it's up 1.5% here. I didn't think I saw any news here. Nope. All right. Pony AI, Chinese AI company, needs to break the downtrend. Okay. All runners this morning need to call broker for Schwab. Boy, Schwab employees are going to be busy, huh? That's the restriction that we've talked about quite a bit here. It looks like it's for all of the movers here today. That should be absolutely wonderful. Okay, Nokia. You guys want to take a look at Nokia and Tesla. Okay. We'll start here with Nokia. Man, I can't believe Nokia is just really been as popular as it has been recently. Nice huge run up, pull back to the 20. This going to be your key level here. Can we actually take 15 out? Can we recapture this 20? I would say that if we cannot resume the trend that we have currently been in, this is actually in fact, if we draw a bottom side trend line here, let's do that right here. We draw this bottom side trend line. I could probably extend that out a little bit more too. If you draw that bottom side trend line, we actually did break trend here. So what we would want for some more upside or for this move to continue is not only a recapture of the 20-day moving average, but the trend line as well. That would also mean that we take completely trade above the candle from Friday. Got that value of maybe 15 and a half here. So trend is broken here on NVIDIA. I would imagine if we continue to trade sideways or we do not have the strength to recapture both of these areas, next level down, probably this 50-day moving average. It's at 1243 right now. 1250 makes a lot of sense. The low from the May 19th candle here is down at about 13. So maybe it stops there. But this is at a decision point. We've broken a trend. Can we recapture the trend? Or is this the start of something new? Okay, Tesla next. Let's take a look here at, you know what? The other thing I wanted to do here on Nokia before I flip it. Okay, so short interest still small. 1% of the float is shorted, 1 day to cover. So we're not getting high short interest, at least not from those reads yet. Let's take a look at Tesla next here. It's going to be TSLA. This will be very interesting to see how it trades after SpaceX. We're currently right above the 200. Okay, great. So Friday's candle was pretty nasty. At the end of Friday, it looked like we were rejected by the 20, broke the supporting trend line, broke the 200, broke the 100, broke the 50, and then closed beneath all of those levels. Really nasty candle there on Friday. Yesterday, we actually get some of that back here, and our candle is basically trapped between the 50 and the 200. Today, in the pre-market, prior to the open, we are above the 200-day moving average. So this is going to be key. I absolutely want to see a close above this level here today. I would imagine if we do not close above this level, 400 is probably next, and then maybe we'll find some support at that 397 if that doesn't come up to 400 by the time that we get down there. The caveat on this can all change when SpaceX IPOs. Might even be able to trade this in sympathy with the SpaceX IPO. But today, 413 seems to be a key level here on Tesla. Ryan's Tesla chart is like a sketchbook. You're not even lying. I mean, I can delete some of these drawings if there's too many of them, but we draw on Tesla all of the time. We draw key levels here on Tesla. We draw trends. We draw the whole 9 yards on this thing. So it does look like a sketchbook. It'd be time to kind of clean this up here in a little bit. Let's see what else. Well, we've got 13 here, so we'll go ahead and bring him on. Let's see. Did I miss anything here? You guys were asking about ADTX, which we're going to get to. SOUN, it looks like, is on the list. INIO and Amazon. Okay, I'll add those to the list. We'll see what we can get to, but for right now, let's go ahead and start pre-market pulse. 13. Happy Tuesday, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm not so sure the market's gonna.
Okay.
Sorry for the this morning, but I'm looking at this scanner list, and I was a little bit taken back today at how many multiple 100% runners we have.
Okay.
I think I counted 7. I looked at 5 of them.
Okay, I have 6 here, so perhaps one of them is a penny stock.
Well, it might have been Global MoFi AI, because that is now at 97% up off of its 100.
That's exactly what it is. I'll tell you what, I'm going to skip that one.
I already planned to.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to skip the one that's up 100% at a whopping 13 cents. We'll just leave it at that. Can I just start at the top of this list here and run it down?
Let's go.
All right, we're going to start with CCTG. This is CCSC Tech International Holdings. Stock closed at 48 cents yesterday and looks like it is testing 350 as we speak. Tested 4 earlier today. This is a Hong Kong listed company, up 578%. I don't have any news on this.
And that's going to be the theme of these today.
That's going to be the theme. Okay, no, now your opening message makes a lot of sense. Short interest on this name, 4.18% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. Not a whole lot here. Float is 3 million on average. It trades 700,000 shares. Traded 69 million today. 13. What do you think here on CCTG?
When I'm finished with all of this, tell me if you've noticed a theme. But so far, here we have a Hong Kong name. It's moving on no news, so I'm attributing it to being pumped. It has revenue, very little cash, and it is not profitable. As you pointed out, 3 million shares are in the float. It's very low float, very easy to push around. Right now, it's trying to make its way up through 350, which is the next resistance area. After that, I have 4. If we do manage to get through 4, I bet you can see the trend line that I'm looking at, which is where I think the price might go if we get that break through 4.
I think that you're spot on there. We'll start here. We'll draw it through the top. Here's our potential target.
There you go. So that's CCTG. I am not going to spend a whole lot of time on these. I'm just going to give us the basics, when it comes to just with the chart showing, the reason why it's moving, because there's not a lot to what's happening here with these today.
Perfect. That's good. We can run through this list pretty quickly. Next one here is going to be CHAI.
Yep.
That's CHAI. It stands for Core AI Holdings. This started to trade up yesterday, went again here in the pre-market, but has since reversed some of that. Now, this is not a Chinese company, or at least it's being labeled here as being headquartered in the United States. I don't have any news on this. The last thing we had was a Form 20F back from the end of May. So no news, same theme. Short interest here, 1.32% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 1 million shares, done 75 million today, and the float is still sub 10 million. So these are all low float here, at least so far, at 9.6 million. What does the chart tell you on this one?
Well, like you said, there's no news. Another pump happening here, 9.6 million shares in the float. The company has revenue, little cash, and it's not profitable. So there you go. As far as the chart, we have support at the 200 EMA. We already got that once today. It's currently facing the 65 EMA as a recapture spot. It just rejected it there on the current 5-minute candle. Still hasn't broken back down to the 200 EMA, and it's actually still being held up by the top end of the after hours consolidation. If it manages to recapture the 65 EMA, the next resistance area is going to be VWAP and then $5. I would still think that because we kind of got a double top here in the pre-market, it's probably going to struggle to recover. I think the big spot we're going to want to watch out for a recapture is 450. If it can get past that in the VWAP, we might be able to nullify that double top.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. CHAI. Yeah. Next one I have on the list here is AZI. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've traded this one before. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So another China name. This thing popped to 12, has already come back to 350. Oh my goodness. Just be careful. Let's check and see. Well, we already have kind of identified that the theme here is no news. Indeed, the last actual news we have here is earnings from May 29th. Quick peek at the short interest on this, 0.5%, negligible on short interest and days to cover. Float on this name is 4.4 million, and it's traded 54 million shares already today. 13, does this big pop and drop kind of put you on tilt for this name?
Not really. It has no news. China pump again. Company has revenue, has little cash, and it's not. 4.4 million shares in the float. This is getting support from the 65 EMA right now. It's almost completely coming back the entire move. It went from, let's see, in the morning here, we went from, looks like about $1.25, went up to, and basically up to 12.50, 12.58 is the high we got. If you lose the 65 EMA, the 200 EMA is the next line in the sand, and then this thing's done if it can't hold there. But if it manages to turn around at some point in the morning here, we still have VWAP at 654. That's going to be right there, right beneath that level. Actually, you have some resistance from some of the price action. So that's going to be the area that I think we're going to need to see recapture if it's going to go on to see 12 again. It could get pumped up again there. It might not. I'm just going to wait this one out and see what kind of price action we get out of the gate.
Okay, sounds about right here. Next here, SLGB. This is Smart Logistics Global, and this looks very similar. This is a Hong Kong, I guess, instead of China. This was 51 cents yesterday, popped to above 12, come all the way back in. It's at $1.24 here. No news. Quick peek at the short interest on this, negligible. Looks like a lot of the same type of junk here, 13.
Oh, yeah.
Floats 3 million on this one. Anything special?
No news. Pump and dump. Has revenue, little cash, not profitable. 3 million shares in the float. This one, I'm not sure what we're going to really get out of this. It looks like it's trying to turn around here. It's got support at the 65 EMA. We haven't hit that yet, but it is making its way back up towards the VWAP. I have that at 132. If it recaptures that, and I would also say 135, we might see it, rise up again, but need to see if we can even get back past and hold above the VWAP first. Another one I'd probably wait for the open for.
Okay, good stuff. We'll just keep moving here so we can get to some of the bigger stocks. PAVS is going to be next. That's PAVS. This is Paranovis Entertainment. This is a United States headquartered company. This traded above 5 before coming back in. Did lose the VWAP. Actually made an attempt to try and recapture the VWAP. Couldn't do that there. We do have some news on this one for the first time here. PAVS enters a sales agreement with AC Sunshine Securities for up to 195 million of shares.
Yep. Basically, this is going to be an at-the-market offering that they're going to do.
That's exactly what I was trying to read. Okay. Quick peek at the short interest here. Less than 1%. Float on this 1 million. You got anything on the chart here?
Well, on the chart, I might. Let me go over to the chart. But I was just going to say this is a break from all the other ones we've looked at. It does have revenue. It's not profitable, but unlike all the other ones where it had very little cash, this one is actually going to have cash as a result of that sales agreement. So I think I would go with it has cash or it's going to have cash. Since we know that they're going to do a capital raise. These other ones, I don't think they've announced it yet, but they need to. So this is a little bit of a different, a little break from these other ones here. As far as the chart goes, got to get back above VWAP. That's the big resistance level right now. And if we continue lower, I think you have 140 as a support area. So another one, if we're going to try, I'd wait till the open. But all these names, all very much doing the same thing, all for the very same reason, and they all share a common thing of very low float, all of them under 10 million. They have revenue, they have very little cash, and they're not profitable. These are pumps.
Yeah. Part of me wonders if this pumps is aligned with the whole PDT thing that's been making a bunch of headlines. Also, really quick, just while we're on the subject of discussing some of these crappier stocks, whoever asked, why is ADTX not being covered? Because it is a 3-cent piece of junk pump and dump stock, and we don't waste our time with it. I actually was mixing that up with another ticker there. Not going to be bringing ADTX to the show. We're not going to
waste our time with other pump and dumps.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now 13, that takes care of our 100% runners. Is there any other on here that you wanted to cover? I know the group is asking about ELPW, Elong Power, which we've traded before.
Let's look at it live.
Okay, and I did see this. I don't know if you've taken a look at this. FAC, F-A-C. This is a battery play. So this actually might require a little bit of looking into. It is a recent issue and it is a battery play. Okay. Next here, I'll do these real quick. How much time do we have? We're good on time. The next one here is going to be RGNT. This is Regentis Biomaterials. The stock closed at $1.28 yesterday, printed above 7 earlier this morning twice. Also ran into that 7 resistance yesterday as well. It's up 88% still. Let's see if we have any news here. We actually had, this is just news from yesterday. So they had a PR yesterday morning about a European surgeon training for knee cartilage repair. It looks like it's still running on that, perhaps some relative volume yesterday. Percent of float shorted here, 0.5%, literally 0.5%. Nothing's really going on. Float on this 3.25 million. Now, this actually has some interesting action here, 13, but this morning it's no bueno. Lost the VWAP and lost a bunch of other moving averages, including the 200 EMA, which we often look at. It also looks like it's just riding the 15 down. So any thoughts on this one?
I would need to spend a little bit more time on it, but I think I'd still want to wait before the open in case there's some more downside to be had. This the last 5-minute candle that we had, that could be the reversal that we've established the bottom and we're starting to turn around. But I would want a little bit more confirmation than just the very next candle that we're still in right now. I think I would want to see a recapture of that 200 EMA as well. That just might be me, but yeah, I don't think I would want to take a stab at this quite yet if I was going to trade it. It looks like it might be bottoming, but I think I would want to see a little bit more of an indication that it's trying to turn around. Okay.
RGNT. Next here is going to be Elong Power. This is ELPW. This is selling off as we speak. I'm not surprised to see this. We'll avoid this one. This looks like another China pump. Let me just make sure there was no news catalyst here this morning on this. There was not. So another China pump here. Is this one 26% of the float shorted, so more than some of the other ones, 3 million shares in the float. You have anything on ELPW?
Let's see if we can hold that 65 EMA. I'd say that right now we're kind of bouncing between the VWAP and the 65 EMA. Whichever one snaps first, that might be the direction it goes for the morning. But I think that's what I'd be watching if I was going to go for a trade in ELPW. To see if that 65 EMA holds. If we do get that hold, I would think that we get a retest of the VWAP.
Okay. All right. And then the only other one I see here on the list that someone asked about was Stack. That's STAK. This is Stack Incorporated, another China name here. This thing traded up towards 7. This hasn't really broken down in reverse like some of the other junk ones. And this had a catalyst in the after hours yesterday that is causing the stock to react here today. Stack enters memorandum of understanding to launch a U.S. subsidiary to develop, market, and commercialize modular gas to electricity power generation systems. Stack to hold 60% of proposed subsidiary to sell these modular power systems. You tell me if you believe this. That's what the news is. Short interest on this name. It was 40%. I don't have a read from the last print, but it was 40%. So definitely high short interest on this one. Float under 1 million shares. What do you got, 13?
I think it's starting to break down. Let's see if we can hold that 65 EMA. That's also at the bottom of this consolidation that we've been seeing in the morning here. You have the 200 at 537. If we lose the 65, I'm not sure how great this is going to be, but this, once again, another one that I'd probably wait for the open. I did draw a trend line on the underside that we're starting to snap. So I'm not sure how great this one's going to be. And I'm not sure how great any of these are going to be. That's kind of why I want to, see what happens out.
I'll just go out on a limb and say none of these are going to be good.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be good or not. I expect volatility. Now, if we could start with them initially selling, but then they could, get picked right back up and go higher. I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but I'm expecting there to be some volatility.
Okay. Zach says, I don't like those long wicks. I don't blame you, Zach.
By the way, CCTG target hit.
There we go. Hit the trend line. How about that? That's look. I'm glad we covered that one first. At least we added the trend line.
That's funny.
At least we added the trend line. Okay. So that's going to do it here for the movers and the junkie stocks. Hopefully we could we'll do Sound and Amazon. I got to check to make sure I didn't have someone else mention a 3-cent stock here. I'm still a little pissed that happened, but that's all right. I did want to mention this real quick. INHD. So I know that this was a great call yesterday. I think you were the one that put this on the radar yesterday morning. Yesterday morning was relatively tame. It was really the afternoon where things got completely out of control and then got out of control in the after hours. Now it's halted T12, indefinite halt. So there's a number of lessons here. We tell you all the time when we're looking at some of these junkie stocks that 13 and I, we never have it in our plan to hold it overnight. If we're going to trade any of this stuff, we're going to be in and out. We're going to take that cash and leave that in our account, make sure that the market can't take it back from us. But holding these really junky positions overnight exposes you to stuff like this. Now, sometimes they go, right? Sometimes we have a stock that trades from 4 to 6, and then the next day we wake up and it's 12 and it goes to 17, then it goes through a bunch of halts and it finishes at 5. Whatever. This is the other part of that. And if you guys made money on this yesterday, fabulous. If one of you folks are halted in this and you don't know where you're going to get your money back or when or any of that, I feel for you. But this is why we give warnings all of the time, even when we're made to look like fools. When we give a warning about a stock and then the stock moons, we're consistent because we've seen this before. And trust me, you catch a couple of those mooners, you might feel great. You get halted in one of these, you ain't going to be feeling great. You're going to be green. So I'm just saying, it's a word of warning here. Be careful with this one. Jay, I know that you talk about this all the time when you're on here. Do not hold these things. Trading them is one thing, but holding them overnight, there are a host of other problems, and we're seeing it here with INHD.
You guys have brought up Factorial Holdings, and just really quick, because it just debuted, looks like yesterday.
Yeah, new issue, FAC, right?
Yeah, and the description for it is that it's a U.S.-based solid-state battery technology company, and it's Mercedes backed. It's backed by Mercedes-Benz. Is this not QS 2.0? I feel like it is. It could be. It's a solid-state battery company backed by a major automaker in Germany. What am I missing here? I mean, I obviously need to do a lot more work on this, but so far, this is basically exactly what QS is. It's a solid-state battery company backed by a German auto company. So beyond that, it might be something completely different. But I would want to know more about this. And just, QS, I've been looking forward to that technology for a while, but we really haven't seen that, come to fruition yet.
Yeah. This, I didn't look into this at all. I actually just saw that this was a new battery play here this morning. Yep. So I'm going to have to do some due diligence on this as well.
Yep. And I'm, like I said, I'm just looking at it, for the first time. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind is QS. So hopefully this is different.
Good. All right. All right. Amazon and Sound were two others. 13, would you mind doing a chart breakdown here on Amazon real quick while I step away? That would be fabulous. Then we'll come back. We'll do Sound here real quick. Here's Amazon. We're under the 50, 13 BRB.
All right. What's going on here with Amazon? I don't see. Oh, Amazon Kids Plus. I mean, was there like any specific news that came out today? You'll have to let me know. As far as the chart goes, I don't like the fact that we've lost the 50-day SMA. Still looks like we could come in some more. would think that 240 is going to provide some support, though I don't know if that's going to be the area where the price turns around and starts trading higher. I could still see it falling a little bit more. But I do think 240, you're going to have some support come into play here. And if you look to the left, you can see that used to be a former resistance zone for quite some time, actually almost the entirety of 2025. It was a resistance area. And we've only really traded above it, for a prolonged period of time this year, starting in April. So I would think that because we've lost this 50-day SMA and we're still struggling to recapture it, if we aren't able to do that, this week, I would think that we still go lower to maybe down to the 200-day SMA. That's going to be at 232.23. So that's my expectation in the near term for Amazon. News pending. Let's see if there's anything else that we can draw from these longer time frames. So on a weekly, you have support underneath 240 as well. On a monthly, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of moving averages, these longer lagging moving averages, are starting to appear in the low 230s. So I think we could end up seeing some prints down there. The 20-month SMA is down at 225. I don't know that we're going to get down to that level, but I think that we're certainly going to get some support from 240. And if we don't hold, then the 200-day SMA would be my next target after that.
Okay, good stuff there. We had an article earlier saying Amazon, one of the top picks. Retro saying this is a buying opportunity for Amazon if it continues to fall. Lion here saying 235. I will be more interested in Amazon. So it looks like, Lion, you want a defense of the 200-day moving average here for Amazon, which would make sense to me.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
Okay, good stuff on Amazon. Next one here, INIO, and forgive me, I'm not terribly familiar. Oh, this is a new issue. So we'll take a look at this together. This is a German company. I don't have any description. Boy, you really threw me a grenade there, didn't you? Sad but dead. Boy, you handed off a grenade to your teammate there. How about that? It does look like the company has revenue here. Let me look up what this is here, 13.
It is a global technology leader in distributed energy solutions.
Okay, it has it mentioned in the electrical equipment industry.
High efficiency gas powered generators and engines that provide on-site electricity.
Like GEV?
Sounds like it. Sounds kind of like the one you were just talking about that had the memorandum of understanding with that Hong Kong company. Because it sounds like these are modular.
Yeah. Okay.
On-site electricity, heat, gas compression for critical infrastructure like grids, data centers, and industrial applications. So, this is just, it seems like this is another one of those power on demand modular systems for data centers and, wherever, like maybe there's an outage or let's say a power plant fails and there's a town that needs electricity. This is the company you call, I guess. I'm just kind of guessing based off the description here, but this is apparently also working on the transition to net zero emissions.
Okay. Man, I don't, this might, new issue here. Some of that information might be outdated. I don't want to give stuff that's false. So sorry, I don't have much of an opinion on this one. That's a good breakdown there, 13, with almost no warning on a new issue. That's pretty good.
No problem. I mean, it seems like we're still very much in this theme that we need to expand electrical infrastructure, not just in the U.S., but apparently around the world. Maybe not so much China since they've built out theirs significantly, but they still lack the resources like coal and gasoline. They have to import. I'm sorry, not gasoline, oil. They have to import a lot of that. But I still think that energy generation, while this whole data center build out is happening, is going to continue to be a thing, especially with backlogs.
I think you're right. And I don't know if you caught the news. Meta is doing a training program to train construction workers to build data centers. And completion of this 5-week program puts you on a data center construction project. So there's no way that stuff's going away, and anything connected to data center construction is going to have some legs.
Those people, those construction workers are getting a gift with that.
Yeah, they are. And they are going to make bank.
Yes, they are. They're going to be so important. They're going to be so important.
I mean, look, don't let anyone tell you that manual labor is not a good thing. I mean, those people are going to absolutely crush those trade skills. They're going to be important for a long time. AI can't replace that. AI cannot make AI build a data center. That I'm sure of. Jay, no, I don't speak very much German at all. And then a couple of other companies here. So real quick, let's do APLD, and then I can also take a look at SOUN. APLD had news here this morning. It's up 13%. Here's a look at the chart. The move today takes us above the 20 and the trend line. We'd actually spent some time trading above this trend line. So an interesting move here on the daily chart for APLD. Here's what's going on. Applied Digital proposed offering of $1.59 billion of senior secured notes to fund the fourth building at the Polaris Forge. So that's it there. Senior secured notes due in 2031. Needham also raised the price target to 83 this morning.
By the way, that is located in North Dakota.
Yep. And also yesterday, I missed this when I first looked at this morning. I'm sorry about that. Applied Digital, this is yesterday after hours. Applied Digital signs a 210 megawatt lease for the Delta Forge 2, expanding its AI factory campus. And we got that proposed offering here, or the senior notes here this morning. So this is more data center news. Data center lease with investment grade hyperscalers secured $5.2 billion in contracted revenue.
And I think you're also getting a little bit of a boost with this news because of the high short interest.
Say that again.
I think you're also getting a boost with this move because of the high short interest.
Oh yeah, 30% of the float shorted, 3.5 days to cover. I think you're absolutely right on that.
I'd be keeping an eye on 50. That's if you look at the daily chart, we tried getting over that price multiple times. Don't think we have a close above it. Doesn't look like we do. So I'd be keeping an eye on 50. There should be some resistance around 48. So for climbing higher this morning, I would think that we see some resistance at 48, but 50's the top of the mountain.
Okay. Lion says, I bought APLD in the early days around 4. Do you still have it? Because that's a 10x from those, quote, early days. Dara saying APLD is cooked if interest rates go up. No? I don't want to say it's totally cooked, being in the whole data center theme. I would not go that far. All right, SOUN is the other one that was on the list here that I haven't got to yet. Here's SOU. It's not really doing anything. Is there a reason other than you're just holding this? It's still kind of sideways. I think it really does need to hold $6. This is the there was a PR here this morning. I beg your pardon. SoundHound AI to participate in the DA Davidson Technology and Consumer Conference. The date for that conference will participate in a fireside chat that will be broadcast live 3:20 p.m. Eastern time. And that is going to be Thursday, June 11th. So that is 2 days from now, day after tomorrow, 3:20 Eastern. This company is going to be participating in a fireside chat.
I think it needs to hold 7.
Okay, so you think 7, 6 is the dead low?
I think if we go down to 6, it's probably going to,
I see what you're saying with the 7 here. No, I see exactly what you're saying with this.
Yeah, I think 7's got to have to be the spot. Because if we're headed down, with this, especially with this kind of trading price action we've seen, if we do go down to 6, I think that we are going to break that low from April.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. We've got less than a minute. Izzy mentioned that QCOM is down. It is down, but slightly here. Oh, we just had, was there news on this, Izzy? Let's see. Video showing Jensen Huang suggesting buy the stock. This was yesterday after hours. Appears to be fake. The stock was up 5% after hours, but that post from Jensen was fake, apparently. And that's why QCOM is down and down from its after hours highs. It'll be interesting to see if it loses the 211 low, Izzy.
And that was a post from the Kobayashi letter? Ugh.
Kobayashi.
Is that how you pronounce it? Sorry.
I think so. Yeah,
Kobe.
okay.
All right. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I totally butchered the name, but that's, I don't know. That's not the kind of post that, because I hear about this name all the time, or the letter all the time.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, just to defend them, they do really good work. I guess this is out of character. That's how I would put it.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. We're open. Let's see what we get with CCTG. That gave us that pre-market trade. It took us up to that trend line. If it breaks through that trend line and goes beyond the 626 high that it printed, we've got resistance up at 760. Let's see what these other junkers have got for us here. EZI not doing a whole lot yet. CCTG just said, you know what? I give up, and it just halted out of the
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna watch these at first. I'm not gonna take a position out of the gate. I don't know what to expect with some of these.
SPY early here is holding the highs. Actually, looks like it wants to go higher here. No indication from my indicator yet. NVIDIA, a bunch of call sweeps here on NVIDIA. APLD call sweeps as well.
Let's go Velo.
Velo coming. Let me tell you something on Velo. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I did not re-add this yet. I know we talked about selling this on its run up to 23 and change here. We also talked about 15 being an ideal spot to kind of reload this. I did not buy it. Shame on me. But look at this. This is a really nice bounce. Didn't actually quite print 15, but the 15 handle. And now here we are looking like we might retake 18.
Yep. Got a good one this morning. All right. So that's looking good. Let's see what else is. I'm just going to cycle through some of the space plays and see what they're telling us. I saw that somebody had mentioned that Redwire had an offering. It looks like it did. It pulled it down to as low as 1656. We're recovering right now. This to me looks like we might run into some resistance. If it continues to. Okay, so it's about to hit the 18 handle. I think around 1825, 1830, you might run into some resistance here with Redwire.
Okay. Really quick. Speaking of space, 13, we have a poll up right now. The year is 2036. 10 years from now, the valuation of SpaceX fits in which of the following ranges? Be sure to get your vote in. I know we've talked about the SpaceX IPO. Keep in mind, the poll question that we're asking you now is a 10-year time horizon. Get your votes in.
Okay, we got Shy breaking or trying to break 4. It's getting over the 65 EMA. Could find some resistance around the 450 area where that sideways price action was in the pre-market. Seems like it's still struggling with that 65 EMA.
We'll see what we get there from Chai.
PAVs halted to the upside out of the gate here.
That's PAVS, you said?
Yep. That's the American one that actually. This is the one that had news. ELPW, that's trying to climb over the VWAP.
Okay.
Stack also trying to do the same. Actually, it did get above the VWAP. It went to
Stack,
675.
That's STAK.
Yeah, it went to 675 and backed off. Still above the VWAP for the moment. Velo went right to 1808, and now it is turning right around and going lower.
Okay, so we got a lot of movement here.
Like I said, I expect volatility.
Yeah, and you were right about that. SPY here looking like it's going to try and take out 744 to the upside here.
Oof, Marvell with a nasty pull there.
So we're getting a bunch of pulls then, it looks like. Ondas pulling as well.
Yeah, the pull you were talking about is the only one that's up right now. It's a joke. But anyway,
sorry, I was reading. Didn't get it, 13, my bad. Retro, this is interesting. Have a chance to get SpaceX at Schwab, but holding it for at least 30 days stop me from buying. The mandatory minimum of 10, I think you meant shares there, 10 years.
AZI is climbing. Looks like SLGB is also trying to get going here. I see a nice volume expansion happening with this right now. The most volume it's had since it had that last impulse move very early in the morning.
Which one was that? AZI?
No, that was
Sox S is popping here.
That was SLGB.
Okay, SLGB. Sorry, man. I was looking at my list there. Went the wrong way. SLGB. I don't know if I trust that one at all. I see DKNG on the list here as well. DKNG. Is this spiking on news? Yeah, DraftKings announces Jason Robbins' participation at an upcoming event. Okay, sorry, I got excited about that. Don't even know what it is. Will participate in the following event: NASDAQ Investor Conference in association with Jefferies. Fireside chat, 6 a.m. Eastern, June 10th. So tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay. That's apparently making DKNG trade up 7.3%. Can't say I get that one.
I mean, this thing has just been so beaten down off the head and shoulders that we talked about forever.
Yeah.
And it came down and found support at, it looks like almost 20, which is like the top of this consolidation back from 2022 and 2023. This might be turning around, but it's still got to get, I think for me, it's still got to get through this consolidation from August of 2023 to October of 2023 and recapture the $30 level. Those things need to happen for me first.
I'll tell you what. This 27 level might be important before then. SPY continuing to trade higher here. So 744, we actually ended up taking that out. I did get a buy signal on my indicator. Feel like I'm chasing if I buy here, though.
That $27 area in DraftKings is the bottom area of the consolidation I was referring to. So that's, yeah, that whole 27 to 30 area is going to, have several levels of resistance. That's what I think we need to get through first.
Chewy on the scanner here. They report earnings tomorrow morning, by the way.
Nice.
Needs to hold this maybe for an inverse head and shoulders.
So remember all those movers we were looking at today, this morning? 3 of them are halted.
Okay.
And they're all halted. 2 of them are halted to the upside. One is halted slightly to the downside. I think CCTG is supposed to unhalt soon, though.
So SPY continuing to push higher here, 744.5. I have 2 buy indicators. Didn't take either of them. Damn. Took the one yesterday and got stopped out on it. This one worked. Or is working, I should say.
Elong coming down to the 65 EMA. That's trying to find support there. Stack, STAK. This is trying to push beyond 675. Velo's trying to find support. Redwire might be heading lower. Starwood is having a good morning. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. PayPal higher, Tesla going for 420. Chris, are you trading Tesla here today?
As it does. OCC, when we traded earlier, I think it was yesterday, or either yesterday or last week. This is a optical cable. This is having a nice move out of the gate here, looking to get over 21.
Crude headed south. Indeed, crude oil down 3% here. SPY up. So that relation seems to be going. That SPY continues to push here. 744.5 now. I'm on a swing on Tesla to the upside. I'm using call spreads. Okay, cool. Thank you, Chris.
PAVS continues to climb. It's over VWAP right now. It's halted as well. So now we have 4 of the movers we looked at this morning halted.
And FAC is also halted, FAC. Is that one of the 4 or is that the 5th?
Well,
PAVS,
no, because
SLGB.
No, because that's one of the new issues. This isn't one of the movers.
Yeah. We
that
covered
one
it in
can
the
back
mover
off.
section. Yeah. We covered it in the mover section, which is why I asked. CCTG also halted there. Okay.
Stack still climbing. ELPW trying to get some support from the 65 EMA. It looks like Velo is also trying to turn around. Let's see if Redwire is trying to do the same. It looks like it is.
Redwire is doing its best to hold 17 after that offering, it looks like. Here's Marvell. Marvell down to 285. This is the after hours low. It's trying to hold it. Lion, you buying this? I bought the dip again today on Marvell. As a matter of fact, you did.
Yeah, 283.71 was the low in the after hours. That seems like a pretty good area. Now let's see this turn around. All right, so then we still have 4 halts. Still waiting for CCTG to unhaul. I think that was the first one. CHAI, another one of these movers from the list, trying to get above the 65 EMA. Let's see if it can do it right here. If it does, I think you're going to find resistance between 435 and 450.
Chai, that kind of got rejected.
Stack, still going. Beyond the pre-market highs, it's now facing the after-hours high of 748. Did pull a little bit here, but did print above the pre-market highs.
Does this create another wick?
Well, I would say let's wait for this candle to finish first, and then we'll have our answer, because I don't want to be.
I was slyly trying to get you to make a prediction.
Oh.
It wasn't so sly. Don't let me fool you.
CCTG is open now. It might halt again to the upside this time. And it is. Should see some of these other ones start to unhalt here. I think, and I don't remember which one was next, but I think it was AZI. Still waiting for an unhalt from AZI, PAVS, and SLGB. Those are the movements that were halted.
NBIS, this looks like this might be trying to go higher. We'll see. SPY is still trying to push 744.5.
Looks like Marvell is trying to turn around. VWAP is at 290.73. DAC still might climb higher. Actually, it's doing so. It just went higher than the after hours high yesterday. 757, now the current high. Let's look at a daily chart, see if I can get an idea of where this may go. Actually, we're at blue sky, aren't we?
Amazon backed off the 250 spot. Jay mentioning that FCell got 2 upgrades here today. That's FCEL.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. It is up 20%. Evercore upgrade to buy, raise the price target to 30.
Yeah, so stack blue sky territory with this one. Not yesterday. It looks like 2 days ago it hit 880 and then backed off. I think we could see 880 again. Excuse me. It's looking like we're trying to beeline right for that area. SLGB open and lower, it looks like. Underneath the 65 EMA, probably might head even lower if it cannot recapture that soon. What else just opened? AZI finally opened again. That's climbing higher.
Marvell still bouncing 288. I had VWAP at 293.20. What else do we have here? Here's Marvell. I'll put that on screen here. 289.
ELPW is getting support from the 65 EMA. Volume's pretty low, but as long as that EMA holds up, we might see a recapture of 145. Velo traded under 17. Redwire down to 17.
Yeah, that Velo pop and then dropped right back to where it was. Apple also sold off out of the open, tried to bounce, and now is resumed lower. In the process, lost 300.
AZI climbing still.
S&P 500 SPY keeps climbing 745. Boy, oh boy, that was good.
Yeah, 745, 750 in AZI might be the resistance. Speaking of 750, if the SPY hits that, I think we need to see if that's going to end the day above it, because if it doesn't, I think we go lower. I think we need to recapture that level, or the SPY is heading lower.
What was the level again? What was the number?
750.
750 exactly. Okay. We'll see. You know, that was a call from Captain Cloudy, I think, in the chat here this morning. That 750 was going to get tested here.
It's one of the things we were talking about yesterday in happy hour.
Yep.
You know, we were talking about the options, talking about with this chart. 750 is the spot we need to get back over. And if the price fails to do that, I think it comes back in.
Dash with a 9-point move here.
AZI testing 6.
FAC is open. FAC.
PAV's about to print higher.
I feel like I'm going to screw this ticker up and I'm going to say something I regret. 13. I don't want to do that.
I already said something I don't regret.
That's the opposite. Bloom Energy up 9%. This is straight up out of the gate. Reggie asking if Bloom has any news. Let's take a look here. I don't see anything. Let's see what this has in here. Clean Energy caught a bid. Bloom has also been trading the tariff reset narrative around metal inputs. I don't think I have any fresh news here on Bloom.
I think SLGB is about to fall under $1. Careful with that one.
Bloom, this is a good move, though, Reggie.
Yep. All right, PAV's higher now.
Marvell looks like it's running into some resistance around 290 on that bounce back.
CCTG unhalted, and it's into another upside halt.
This actually, this intraday chart looks like this wants to go higher too.
Yeah, PAV's still climbing. Looks like 375, 380 might be the next resistance area.
Boy, this found some resistance right at the VWAP and is now pushing away from that to the upside. Marvell back above 290.
Yep, that's right where the VWAP is. We're dealing with VWAP right now.
United Airlines is up 5%. This is straight up out of the open. No fresh news on that. United Airlines just doing well today. Marvell 291. Boy, Lion, I don't think you do anything but trade Marvell nowadays, and that's all you need. SPY 246 now, or 746 on the SPY. Look at that, straight up. Definitely should have bought that.
And this is up on what exactly?
Trump made some comments that he thinks the war is going to wrap up in a couple. We could have a deal in a couple of days. The only reason I'm citing that, even though it's, you know, nothing's official here, is because we're also seeing oil move inversely to what we're seeing here in the SPY. Oil is now down 3.7% at the day low, while SPY at the day high. Let me see if there was any other update that I might have missed.
We'll see. I mean, color me skeptical.
You're not the only one.
Some of these mover names looking a little weak at the moment. They haven't, you know, turned around. Some already did that, but the ones that were running are looking weak. PAV's coming off of the high it just made. It's still above VWAP. CCTG still halted to the upside. That's halted above VWAP. Chai is beneath VWAP, trying not to fall further. SLGB recapturing $1, at least it's trying to.
Credo, this is straight up out of the gate. Don't see any news. This thing up 11.5% here. Market continuing to scream higher. S&P futures now at the day high, 746, 747 test coming here on the SPY. And then Sean here, Sean, you're right on this. Airline's going to pump on lower oil and less route disruptions in that region. And indeed, it looks like the airlines, or at least United, let's see what America looks like, but it looks like United moving in the same direction as the market here would move if the war does in fact end. American Airlines, same deal, just with less amplitude of the move. Dr. Manred says he's not going to color you skeptical. He's going to color you bad.
Bad? Okay.
I was going to say, that one doesn't really track for me. Marvell, selling off from that 290 area. I know we printed above it here, but coming back in a little bit. Ryan, let me know what the buy spot is on that.
PAVs still climbing, knocking on the door of that resistance area I was talking about, that 375, 380. Trying to get through it right now. If we do, I don't think we'll have too much trouble with 4. It's looking more like 450 might be the tougher spot in PAVs.
The noob says you should buy puts on Marvell because he just bought it, so it's going to go down, and indeed it went down.
Thanks for the warning. So AZI is still holding the VWAP, and if it continues to do so for the next for this candle and maybe even the next one, I think we could see some higher prints above 625.
Folks, don't forget Thursday, going to be a big day here. We talked about, when we had David Prince on earlier, he's got his session, but we also have a free webinar here on Thursday. If you've been watching gold rip, if you've been watching crypto come back to life, AI chips refuse to slow down. Marvell, looking at you. We're going deep on all 3 next Thursday. Benzinga is teaming up with Direction for a free live boot camp. This is going to be June 11th. I think I just said next Thursday. That's this Thursday, day after tomorrow. We'll break down how active traders are actually positioning around these themes using ETFs. You can scan the QR code here on the screen. It'll take you right to the registration link. Save your seat. It's completely free, folks. Completely free. Our friends at Direction. Captain Cloudy, out more spy calls. Booyah. Right. Nice job. Lion, answering my question directly, 283, 286 is a buy zone today, according to Lion. PAVs still up near highs. We'll see if we get that 4 test here.
Still getting a bit of recovery here in Redwire. That's climbing higher into the 17 handle.
AZI battling at its VWAP right now. Here, let me put Redwire on the screen for a sec here.
Tell me if you've heard this before. CCTG, it unhalted, traded higher after testing the VWAP. Now it's halted.
I've heard that before, 13.
Yeah.
Bloom's up 10%. Marvell coming back in some more. We'll see if 283 holds it. Captain Claudia says the buying pressure looks good. Probably bulls will buy the pullback. You think pullback to what level there? 744, 744 and a half, maybe 745, depending on how high we go.
I would kind of lean into the idea that we could get a correction soon. With the way that we're getting these ridiculous multiple 100% runners, things are extended. If if we do actually have an end to this Iran and Strait of Hormuz ordeal, then I think we could see some bargain hunting happen. Maybe the really beat up names get interesting. I could see some profit being taken. PAVs higher. It's going to go into a halt. Maybe. Hasn't halted yet, but it looks like it might do it just in a moment here. There it is.
429 halt on that. Marvell coming in more here, 285.
Well done, Hedgehogger, sorry.
Affirm, killing it with Affirm.
Yep.
Buy now, get paid now too. It sounds like with the firm here.
Looks like SLGB trying to climb its way back up. We'll see if it can get going here. Lots of sellers up in the 115 to 120 area if this does climb back up, but it did recapture the dollar level. Yeah, so we're waiting for PAVs to unhalt, waiting for CCTG to unhalt. And CHAI is still trading lower, and AZI is still holding the VWAP.
And the SPY is pulling back here. 744.45 is your VWAP. We're currently at 745.24, so we'll see if VWAP ends up holding this pullback here on the SPY.
Yeah, I think so, Jay. I think that's where I'm looking is I would be looking at some of the really big, heavily discounted or bargain names, the laggards, you know, and the big winners that have run. I think you could see some profit taking. I don't think that the big winners, like let's say Micron, for example, I don't think that they're done. But I think that there's going to be a period where we're going to see some profit taking, some selling that's going to pull the price back down, and then we'll see a move that goes right back into those later.
Real quick, Lulu here getting mentioned by Sean, or no, excuse me, Wellness Matters. Lululemon, this is bouncing off of that area. We talked about this maybe cracking 100 and going under. Not yet. Not yet. We'll see if it could take out 125. That would be a key level here on Lulu.
Looks like AZI is trying to push above, or trying to get over 6. Still holding VWAP.
SPY continuing to come in here. We broke 745. I do want to see if this gets caught by the VWAP. S&P futures are extended away from their VWAP, so I'm just watching the SPY on this. Tom says, taught myself how to trade the S&P futures. Been crushing it. You learn something new every day. That's how you do it. Keep adding those tools to the toolbox. I'll tell you what, one of the things that I've noticed about trading SPY is you really have to be on top of that. And a lot of the times when I'm kind of flipping around or doing stuff, I end up moving away from it. If you're going to trade those 0 DTEs on SPY or any other name, really got to be locked into your trade. Don't try to do too many things at once.
Our GNT, this is over the 65 EMA now. I'm trying to climb higher. So these, you know, the ones that we weren't so sure about, we just needed to wait and see what they ended up doing. Some of these are starting to recover here.
SPY is still coming in. We'll see if we get this VWAP test here, about 50 cents away.
RGNT taking off.
ALPD coming back in here. Let me put RGNT on screen here. Marvell in a 283 handle, by the way.
Looked like AZI was looking good there for a moment. Now it is losing VWAP. There might be some support around, you know, somewhere between 450 and 425.
All right, Cloudy, we're back down here at VWAP on SPY. Do we try this? Do we try it small here and see how it goes?
Looks like SLGB is back down to $1.
SLGB.
CCTG is unhalted and climbing higher. Might go for another test of that trend line. I think we are going to get into another halt again, though.
Marvell continuing to pull now, went right through 282 to the downside.
Waiting for that halt indication to show up on CCTG. Either this is moving very slowly or there it goes, finally. Now it's in a halt. Freaking forever for that to happen there. RGNT backing off a little bit from the high that it just put in, but it isn't finished.
Captain Claudia saying I would wait for the 5-minute candle to close. Indeed, that's what I'm doing here. We are still above the VWAP, and I have not got a buy indicator yet.
PAVs has been fantastic on a step of $5. It wants to take out and the
Oh
Pre-market
man, look
high.
at that.
Mhm.
It just did it. Or it went right to it there.
Yep.
Well, here, this is a sell area for sure on PAVs. Holy PAVs whipping around. Congrats to anyone that was making some money here on PAVs. S&P futures, or excuse me, SPY beneath the VWAP. We'll see if this bounces here, if we get any type of buy indicator on it. This candle closes in 4 seconds. And it went lower there.
Yeah, Daniel, it seems like SLGB was probably one of the only ones that didn't work out so well on this. Now, maybe there's going to be something later on that happens with that, but right now it doesn't look so good.
Daniel asking, did I take PAVs? No, I wasn't really concerned with any of the movers here today. I am looking at the SPY 0 DTE, but I was too slow on that first one. I just opted not to take it. I'm watching
PAV
this bounce to see if we firm up here. What do you have, 13?
PAV 6.
Yeah, this PAVs was great, though. As far as the movers go, this one was great. Marvell might be trying to bottom down here at 280.
Well, we were just dogging on SLGB. This is it's still trying to turn around here. Maybe it recaptures at 65 EMA. Maybe it does that.
I think that was me, 13. I think my internet just hiccuped there. Daniel said I couldn't take PAVs. My broker blocked it. Someone said that all of the stocks on the movers list this morning were blocked on Thinkorswim.
My God, PAVs is not finished.
And SPY is trying to bounce. And that's what I get for not being glued to my screen. Damn it.
Now with PAVs, because there's I'm just trying to find some areas of resistance here. We might have just hit one, but if this continues higher, I think that the next big area of resistance could be around 950. It did hit, run into some already, so we are getting this backing off. But if we aren't completely breaking down and giving everything back, like let's say if we find some support around 4, we might not be finished. Just want to see if we ended up curling and turning back up after that. We're also going to see if AZI is finished or not. That's trying to get back above its VWAP. PAVs really gave it back there. SLGB, that's climbing back up again after dipping underneath $1.
But for PAVs, you still are okay as long as this holds 4, right?
I think as long as I'm not in this, but if this it holds 4 and kind of builds a base, I think that might be an indication this is going to try again. And now after this candle's over, we have a bit of a trend. We can use these wicks to draw our next target if we do get that hold at 4.
Apple low a day, indeed, Jay. Low of day after the WWDC again.
And SLGB trying to break through 120 right now. Looks like it wants to go to VWAP.
There's RGNT.
Looks like I don't know what the expectations were, but it looks like the existing home sales month for month had a nice rise, going from 0.7% to 3.2% month over month.
Is that affecting any of those stocks?
I didn't look. It's just I have some of these headlines coming up on the SPY here for me. I'll look. I will look and see what
I'll tell you what, Marvell is trying to carve out a bottom here, but I don't think it's in yet.
Well, DHI looks like it's having a good morning. Let's see here. We have Toll Brothers. That's also up. Looks like those housing names are doing pretty good this morning. I've only looked at 2, but so far they look pretty good. Folks are mentioning RGNT. That is printing. Certainly it is. Here we are with another one that we just needed to wait and let it do its thing. We can also take the highs from the price action in the after hours in the pre-market and draw our next target.
On which one?
RGNT.
RGNT.
Now, I don't know that we're going to go to 8. That would, that'd be a fantastically large move from where we're at right now. But that's where this trend line that I drew is telling us that the target would be. You see that? You see the highs from the after hours in the pre-market?
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, I would just draw a trend line between those.
Got
two.
you. And we'll connect that. That goes out to 8. Let's do that here real fast. Oh my gosh, what on earth? I literally pressed it. Why aren't you doing it? Am I not clicking this? 13, I promise I'm trying to draw the trend line. Okay. All right, there we go. Let me refresh.
Let's see if you can draw it before RGNT gets there.
I was going to say, let's just, I got it on there. Let's refresh. Let's see if it stays.
No, Forsman, it's not going to halt yet. It's probably going to take a much larger move, but it's still trading right now. If it has like a huge move, it might go into a halt. But right now, it's still kind of moving around with this sizable spread that looks to be anywhere between 5 to 15 cents at the moment.
Okay, that was much better. So hopefully we got the trend line on there. Scott saying, what happened to INHD with the halt all morning? T12 halt, indefinite halt time. That's what happened.
We also have SLGB halt at the upside. That ended up breaking through VWAP. So nice little recovery there. Just when you think these are done, they surprise you.
How about that?
Meanwhile, RGNT says you want to see surprises. It's still climbing. Coming up to a little bit of a resistance area from the pre-market price action.
Is this? And then MSS, this is not one that we were looking at, is it? Nope. No. Although that spike, I wonder if there was news on this. That looks like just a volume spike into the halt there.
Yes.
Yeah, that is news. Interesting.
Well, this is interesting indeed, because we've been talking about restaurants and how they are kind of under pressure right now. The whole food away from home is. This is partnering with Supply AI, Minimax to mull AI native service offering for North American food retail supply chain sector.
Tom just took a look. Just look at the S&P 500 futures, and the 20 EMA comes down and bounces every time. We'll see if we get another bounce here. It's still holding 744.
Watching AZI for a recapture of VWAP. Whenever CCTG halts, I think we're going to, I don't know if it'll do it before it halts again, but I'm watching for this next test of the trend line again.
On which one? Sorry.
CCTG.
I was going to say, you mentioned two tickers there. I think I got it wrong. Here's CCTG.
Yeah, I said AZI is trying to recapture its VWAP, or at least what I'm watching for. And then I said CCTG still in a halt, but when it unhalts, we might see it test that trend line.
Got it. We shall see.
Yep. PAVs, they hit the trend line and backed off. We're waiting for RGNT to do the same thing, and it is beelining for that right now. This might actually finally go into the halt that you were watching for, Chris.
And speaking of Chris here says, does it seem like we're getting more of these halts, random pumps, and short squeezes with the PDT squash? Yeah. I want to say yes, but I also want to take a step back and be like, the sample size is still small. But yes, it does feel that way. I think INHD traded the way it did yesterday because of the PDT squash.
RGNT didn't go into a halt; they still moved it. It might, I'm just still watching to see if it ends up doing that. But it climbed. It's continuing to climb. I think it's part of it is the pattern day trading rule, but we also noticed some of these names starting to go ahead of that rule being lifted. We were talking about, some of these China names, like these pump and dumps happening. And this was before the PDT rule was lifted. So I think it kind of ran into that event. I'm just waiting for RGNT to halt. It's not doing it. It might do it here. We'll see if this actually takes the halt. But this was still climbing. Still coming towards that trend line.
This is coming straight up too. Man, oh man. Nikhil saying Marvell in free fall.
There we go. Finally halted.
RGNT halted 655 there.
Yep.
Oh my God, Marvell. This is in free fall. Look at this. This tried to bounce once off the 285 spot. We're down at 275. Chris saying, I wonder if the Reddit crowd and the Wall Street bets has more flex with the PDT. I mean, how much did they have to begin with?
And what are they saying? What are they hitting?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not even on Reddit, so I'm not even sure what's going on over there. Folks, just a little look ahead here. No Anne-Marie today. She has a personal issue she is attending to, but she will be back for Friday's session.
Pavs hit our trend line, backed off. Waiting for an unhalt from CCTG and SLGB. We just got halted with RGNT, so that'll take a little time. What's getting hit next?
Tesla's down at the lows. Ondas at the lows. Man, it is ugly out there.
Yep. Didn't quite get the 750, but it is pulling like we did. I still think we're going to get our 8% correction. I think SPY 700 is where we head if we are not able to get back above 750.
And that bounce on SPY at VWAP, yeah, that didn't happen. We cracked that. We're coming in a little bit lower now as well on the SPY. We're actually beneath the VWAP on the S&P futures as well. SPY at the 65 EMA. Cam saying Friday's continuation may have begun. Who's with Cam on that one?
Pavs getting some volume expansion, trying to push back up toward a trend line.
Is it just me, or the only things that looking like they're half decent trades, the junky movers that we insulted earlier in the day?
Hey, I'll talk all the crap on them that I want and still trade them.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, it's these that have ended up working today.
And here we go. Stack starting to rise again.
Tesla at the lows, Goldman Sachs at the lows. Velo turned around and went red. Oh, actually, sorry, that's still green from yesterday's open.
The space and quantums got hit hard. So did the chips. Meanwhile, Dollar General knocking on the door of 110. Let me look at these other grocer names. Is Kroger doing good? No, that one's down. How about Costco? That one's down as well. How about Walmart?
Costco's basically flat today.
Walmart's down. Oh, Ross. Ross stores are up. DLTR.
Wouldn't Ross stores being up pretend your correction? Wouldn't we see some of those consumer defensives?
This is kind of what I'm leaning into. I think that these the bargain retailers, the ones that I think that, because we talked about how we're in a recession. I know that there's going to be some disagreement about that, but you see these really steeply discounted retailers like Dollar General and Dollar Tree doing really well, while Walmart, Costco, Kroger, the larger, well, I don't know if I would say larger, but the more well-established, higher end consumer brands are not doing as well. I think that's kind of what I'm going with here. And also food at home. I think you're going to see more people cook at home. Yeah. I think that's one of the big reasons. That's one of the big reasons why you saw Berkshire Hathaway pick up Macy's. Look at Newell Brands. That's up again today. Let me pull up that list, because we were talking about these different cookware brands and how they could Benefit, they're all up. They're all up. SN is up, Chef is up, WSM is up, Cut is up, and Cook is also up.
G-Man says, I'm done trading until next week after the SpaceX IPO. The market is in cashing mode. Jay was, sorry, real quick. Jay was mentioning that NVIDIA went red here. I saw a whole bunch of NVIDIA put buys too as they're chasing this to the downside.
Yeah, Neville, Coke and Pepsi. I kind of like that for the upcoming World Cup. Mm-hmm.
Let me get you before we've got 15 minutes here. Let me get you those poll results. I asked you guys, the year is 2036, 10 years from now, the valuation of SpaceX fits in which of the following ranges? 36% of you voted 2 to 5 trillion. 25% of you voted for less than 2 trillion. 23% of you said 5.01 to 10 trillion, and 16% of you said more than 10 trillion.
It could be.
That's a pretty good distribution across that poll. I like that.
It could be. Look at how far NVIDIA came in less time. It could be over 10 trillion. By the way, RGNT, it came out of its halt and went straight down and gave back that entire big candle that it created. Looks like Marvell is continuing lower into the.
Marvell is in Nikhil called it right. That thing is in a free fall. And too bad Marionette and Lion didn't extend their bet till the end of the week.
CCTG, that unhalted, barely tapped the trend line and turned around. Now it's halted to the. I'm sorry, it's not halted. No, it's halted. It's halted to the downside now.
SPY, let's see if 740.92 is going to hold. We're basically right there, 741. We are right there. Looking at that, that is basically the pre-market low, isn't it?
Oh, hold on. What happened here?
Which one?
SVIV. Did they finally select a target? This is one that I've been sitting in for a while. And I can explain why I did that in a little bit, but
I think I remember you talking about this one.
So this Spring Valley acquisition has been going through a couple of other SPACs. They brought a couple. I think one of them was SMR, and the other one I think it was NewScale. Let me double check which ones those are. But they are bringing new energy companies to the market, and I was just on that theme. I was waiting for the next one. This is their Spring Valley acquisition 4, their 4th one they're bringing to the market. So it's going to be in that same theme. And I was just, getting it around the SPAC price, $10. Actually, my cost is $9.95. So I just was waiting for them to find a target. And this move here today is having me wonder if that's what happened, but I don't know.
Looks like it was done on low volume.
Very low volume. So yeah. I don't know if that's what's happened or not, but I just noticed that it was up significantly. Anyway.
By the way, G-Man does not look like that level held. Lower we probe here on SPY. And PAVs, by the way, Johnny, you were asking if it was halted. Nope, not yet. Printed 706. Will halt here if this holds.
Okay.
At 706.
So yeah, so the first one, Spring Valley acquisition, that was SMR, NewScale Power. The second one they did, that was Eagle Nuclear Energy, ticker NUCL. The third one they did is now GFuzz. This is, I don't know if it should be trading now. It doesn't appear like it's on there, but that's the next one. That's General Fusion. Maybe it hasn't merged yet, but that's what the ticker is going to be. And then, of course, SVIV is the current SPAC where they're bringing the next one to market.
PAV is going to halt here at 728 if it holds. And it did not again. And this right PAV stuff is wild.
Broke right through that trend line like it was nothing.
Yeah, it did. G-Man, Ryan, something going on news?
It's still going. It might, no, maybe not. It was looking like it was about to halt there. It looked like it was almost going to halt there.
It looked like it's almost going to halt thrice, and it just hasn't.
It's still going. Let's see if I can identify a spot where it runs to. No way.
G-Man, the last update that I see here is the U.S. wholesale trade and the existing home sales. I don't think that's it. You're asking if Trump's speaking. I don't have a Truth Social account, so I don't know. I don't see it, though.
Just a guess. PAVS goes to 950. Just a guess. No guarantee on any of that. Just a guess. SLGB unhalted, went higher, or it looks like it may have whipped around. Yeah, actually, it burst higher, and then it came back in, and now it's halted to the downside. So that one that went under $1 ended up turning into a fantastic little trade there if you took it.
This PAVS move is unbelievable.
I mean,
no new Trump post. Thank you, Lance.
So out of all those that we looked at, if we were waiting for the open, looks like AZI could have given you a trade at the open. CCTG, if you were patient, you could have made money on that after the open. CHAI, probably one of the only ones that you couldn't have made money on since that went sideways. PAVS would have worked if you took it at the open.
Oh yeah.
SLGB eventually did work if you took it at the open. It just only worked just now before this halt. RGNT also worked if you took it at the open. Crazy stuff that all of these junky movers worked, except for maybe one. Stack, same thing. Took it at the open, you're doing fine. So, but again, these are not ones to hold. If you made money, make sure you're paying yourself.
Tesla at the lows, Ondas sub 10 man. Ondas got smoked.
Might be a whole series of other names that do this tomorrow. And while the other ones here give it back.
Ondas down 6% here today. IWM tanking hard. That's bringing a lot of these other small caps with it, Ed. Except for some of the runners like PAVS. IWM basically gave back the entire pop that it had this morning.
MSS
this is actually not as bad as the SPY. SPY gave back the pop and then some. What'd you have, 13? Sorry.
MSS is unhalted. It's funny. I actually have a level here for MSS. The last time we traded this, that's 195. We had a high of 192. We're backing off now. Now, if we do get some support from VWAP and this thing wants to be, wild and go beyond $2, I have 230 as the next resistance area, followed by 3. If AZI loses the 65 EMA, I think it's done for the day.
AZI, that's one I feel like I haven't looked at in a little bit here.
AZI giving back the move out of the gate here. It's been kind of doing that, for the past half hour.
G-Man mentioning that SPY 739.74 is holding. Indeed, it is. It actually looks like SPY and the Qs might try and bounce here.
Got 4 halts from the movers. By the way, ELPW now halted to the upside. It looks like it wants to break past some of these pre-market levels. 155-ish, somewhere between 155 and 160. There's some resistance. If we, I think we'll unhalt and try to push through that.
Actually, a pretty good bounce here. Indicator gave me no signal to buy on the 0 DTE, but this thing has bounced 40 cents on these 0 DTEs that I'm watching. That was actually a really nice bounce off that level you called, G-Man.
Starwood's been good this morning.
That's the dividend player?
Yeah.
That also would be, if they think the market is going to correct, maybe Starwood was where you'd hide out.
We were talking about Clorox yesterday as well. PAVS open, by the way. Clorox now paying over 5% on their dividend. They've been, consecutively paying dividends uninterrupted for 48 years. A couple more years will be a dividend king. They've been raising their dividend every year. Now, that being said, it does look like the price might come in a little bit more, but I think it's getting to a point where it's just incredibly attractive, especially for the dividend. AZI up 30. AZI, one of the movers we've been looking at this morning.
Westcap up 4K done for the day. Boom, great
Nice
stuff there. Brand new whip, 1,200 profit off SPY puts. Register ring there, good stuff here. And then a really good bounce. G-Man, that was a really, really good bounce from that 739, 74 area. I wish that I played that. I actually put an order out there and didn't get filled. Thing ran away from me. And Marvell has also bounced off 270.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, it looks like the chips, quantum, and space names are trying to turn around right now.
Sean saying SPY bounce was perfectly on the fib retrace. You and G-Man might have the same levels down there. That was really, really well done.
I like that one too, Retro. That's a good one. KMB, Kimberly Clark. I like that. It's basically a lot of paper products. We're gonna need that. I like that list, Celine. STED, Clorox, Colgate.
STWD is what she meant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For Starwood.
Yes. Okay. So Clorox, Colgate, Kimberly Clark. Maybe even throw in Procter and Gamble in there as well. PG. These are all consumer-facing household names that people are still going to need. Even if there is when there's a recession, they're still going to have to buy these things. Yeah, great dividend earners, very, very high yields right now because of how hammered down they've been. So I think they are looking really attractive. And if we do see selling in tech, follow through with this, I believe that we're going to see rotation into these bargain names here that have been beaten down so much.
Captain Cloudy Ryan, because the buying pressure was good, bulls will buy lower to get to break even and get out of the morning trap. Okay. Actually, looking at the 15-minute chart in the S&P futures, you have a gorgeous looking hammer. Bounced right off the pivot and looks like it's going to try and take out VWAP.
Looks like Stack is trying to push into new highs. Redwire and Velo trying to get back up to their VWAPs. They have some other EMAs in the way. MSS, this is trying to climb and hold back over its VWAP as well. CHAI, the one that's been sideways all morning, still going sideways, still struggling to recapture that VWAP. PAVs just printed another high, 808. A guess that I had earlier, still 950. But if we start closing underneath the trend line that we drew, then I think that takes 950 off the table.
ELPW is open.
Oh, good mention.
That's actually right at its VWAP too.
Yep, that's trying to climb. It looks like somewhere between 175 and 180 is going to be your next resistance. There's also a seller in the way at 177. Here we go. We're coming up to test that right now. Chai finally gave in. Now it's coming down to the 200 EMA. I'm not confident it's going to hold that. Meanwhile, AZI reclaiming 4. This is trying to come back up to its VWAP.
SPY bounce looks like it kind of slowed down here. I'll be interested to see if it ends up retracing and holding that 741 area. G-Man, we'll see.
Stack new highs. Hopefully you folks are stacking up some gains.
Not today. I didn't play any of the movers, and the bigger names didn't really give anything. So that's my fault.
Oh, well, bigger names gave some downside.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
You said stacking gains.
Yeah, you're right. And CHAI trying to get some support from that 200 EMA. It did get a print underneath there. Not sure if we're going to hold this or not, but I think my opinion is we go underneath this moving average.
JJ says, is there any way of knowing when INHD will resume trading? No. And that's part of the risk. That's why we want to avoid some of these stocks that do that crazy stuff.
There might be something you could infer from that. I don't know anything about this company other than it's in the metals and mining sector. So, depending on what their cash is like, we could take a look at that. They've got almost 32 million in the bank, barely any revenue, loses money. So it doesn't seem like they need to raise cash. but something else might be coming that's material. If it ran up like this and it's halted for a prolonged period of time, don't know what that's going to be, but you know, depending on what you uncover based on what we already have available to us, you might be able to infer when that unhalt is coming or what it's going to be over.
So here it is. So on NASDAQtrader.com, T12 halt, additional information requested by NASDAQ. That could be a while, and I guess you could make the case that they might never give him that information. All right, 13, we're out of time here for today. Another Tuesday in the books. You have any closing words for our group?
That was fun. I had a good time today. You know, I was kind of looking at these names thinking, yeah, they might be crap. Wasn't the case. It's ended up being a pretty good day with these junky names. And I don't know how long this party's going to last. When we start to see these multiple 100% runners in a single morning, that usually is indicative of a market top. So be sure you're protecting yourself, folks. I'll be back here tomorrow. We'll find some more crazy things to trade, and we'll have a good time. So until then, take care. Goodbye.
All right, 13, good stuff here today. Take care. We will see you tomorrow and on Happy Hour again tonight. Reminder, folks, no Anne-Marie today. She will be back on Friday. We're done here for today. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow bright and early. Take care, everybody.